Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. Vice-President and Rajya Sabha Chairman CP Radhakrishnan presided over the Rajya Sabha for the first time on Monday. Upon his arrival in Parliament, he was welcomed by Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Harivansh. In the House, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended a warm welcome to the Rajya Sabha Chairman and described the day as a moment of pride for members of the upper house.
शीतकालीन सत्र का आरंभ हो रहा है और आज सदन के हम सभी माननीय सदस्यों के लिए ये गर्व की पल है। आपका स्वागत करना और आपके मार्गदर्शन में सदन के माध्यम से देश को प्रगति की राह पर ले जाने के लिए महत्वपूर्ण विषयों पर चर्चा, महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय और उसमें आपका अमूल्य मार्गदर्शन एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर हम सबके लिए है। मैं सदन की तरफ से, मेरी तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, आपका अभिनंदन करता हूं और आपको शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
Reflecting on the chairman's extensive public career and his commitment to public welfare, the Prime Minister said he serves as an inspiration for all who value service to society. He also used the opportunity to share his personal observations from years of association with the chairman.
हमारे सभापति जी एक सामान्य परिवार से आ रहे हैं, किसान परिवार से निकले हैं और पूरा जीवन समाज सेवा के लिए समर्पित किया है। समाज सेवा ये उनकी निरंतरता रही है। राजनीतिक क्षेत्र उसका एक पहलू रहा है, लेकिन मुख्य धारा समाज सेवा की रही है। समाज के प्रति समर्पित होकर के जितना कुछ अपने युवा काल से लेकर अब तक वो करते आए हैं, करते रहे हैं, वो हम सभी समाज सेवा के प्रति रुचि रखने वाले लोगों के लिए एक प्रेरणा है, एक मार्गदर्शन है।
Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Harivansh, said the experience, wisdom and leadership of Chairman Radhakrishnan will guide the members in making the session more productive.
भारत में कैसे लोकतंत्र की जड़ें हजारों वर्ष पुरानी हैं। हमारे संविधान सदन की दीवारों पर हजारों वर्ष पहले आचार्य कौटिल्य का कहा लिखा है, प्रजा सुखे राज्यम प्रजा नाम तू हिते हितम। प्रजा के हित में ही राजा का हित है और राजा और प्रजा के सुख में ही राजा का सुख है। आपके मार्गदर्शन में इसी भावना के तहत हम अपनी इस महान संस्था को, इस विरासत को आगे ले जाएंगे, यह विश्वास है।
Leader of the House JP Nadda and Leader of the Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge also offered their greetings and best wishes to the chairman.
हम सब लोगों की उम्मीद ही नहीं, विश्वास है। We have complete faith in you and under your leadership निश्चित रूप से ये जो लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी की जो का मंदिर है, टेम्पल है, उसका जो अपर हाउस है, उसको आप उसकी आप अध्यक्षता, उसको कंडक्ट आप बखूबी करेंगे।
I rise today to extend heartiest felicitation on my own behalf and on behalf of all the opposition members on your assuming the august office of Chairman Rajya Sabha.
Members cutting across party lines extended their good wishes to the chairman on day one of the winter session of Parliament, which marks the 269th session of the Rajya Sabha. The chairman conveyed his heartfelt thanks to all members for their gracious felicitation and affirmed his resolve to continue the proud and distinguished legacy of his eminent predecessors.
We all should be proud of India's democratic power and celebrate her as the mother of democracy. As it is mentioned by many members, my humble journey from Tirupur, the knitwear capital, to New Delhi, the national capital, shows the remarkable power of our democracy. Only in democracy a person can rise from the humblest beginning to the high positions in public life. This rise makes me more conscious of the duties and responsibilities of the chair. The chair had been adorned by the finest and the most distinguished sons of the soil. Their intellect, dignity, and commitment to parliamentary democracy have left being an enduring legacy, and I assure the House to continue their great legacy.
So the chairman's felicitation has in many ways infused the House with a spirit of positivity and shared purpose, and his leadership and vision are expected to encourage members to engage meaningfully and uphold the highest standards of parliamentary debate. We are now joined by two distinguished guests to reflect on the day's developments, but also the momentum that it sets and the path ahead for the upper house of parliament. I'm pleased to welcome on the program senior journalists, Mr. Shekhar Iyer and Mr. KV Prasad. Thank you to both of you for joining us on the program today. Mr. Iyer, let me begin with your thoughts first. So the warm felicitation of the chairman in the House in many ways reflected goodwill. It reflected shared optimism and also deep confidence across party lines. You heard a lot of members take part in the felicitation ceremony as well. They spoke of his wisdom and experience, which the Prime Minister and the Deputy Chairman also echoed. As someone who's observed Parliament and policy for decades, how do you view this promising start, not just to this session of Parliament, but also the role of the chairman in effectively running the upper house?
Well, Tina, Radhakrishnan is Radhakrishnan, in the sense his personality, his style of interacting with people and his own conduct as governor of Maharashtra and Jharkhand, have left behind an impression that he is a person who is very keen that there is dialogue between parties, there is dialogue between leaders, and the purpose of the parliament, which is to legislate and debate various issues and come up with solutions for the cause of the people, is somehow, that cause is somehow kept up. And to that extent, he himself doesn't have any personal agenda or any personal likeness or fondness or dislike or anything. He is the kind of person who believes that, it's more to be more human being is more important. That is why the positions or powers or the whatever post he has occupied, whether he was lieutenant governor or he was governor, it has never impacted his personality. And even in Maharashtra, you recall, of course, Jharkhand, we all know, all the parties in Jharkhand were very happy with it. And similarly in Maharashtra also, despite several political upheaval in Maharashtra, Radhakrishnan was always respected by all the political leaders because they did not see any personal agenda in him or anything like that. He wanted whatever he has conducted or whatever he has done in these states as governor was in keeping with the spirit of the constitution. So similarly, since he is coming, he has taken over as chairman of the Rajya Sabha, all the senior leaders who have known him, who have heard about him, who know him, they feel that perhaps he is the answer of this time, present time, which requires that there is somebody who can bring everybody together and keep the dialogue on. Tina.
That's right. So as the winter session begins and during this session, the members will deliberate on issues of national and public importance. Mr. KV Prasad, I'll come to you. Try to build on more on the point about the strength and the wisdom that the chairman brings, about which several members spoke in the House. Now, the Rajya Sabha, we all know, is a diverse house with multiple parties. There are multiple viewpoints. There are also multiple personalities in the upper house of parliament. In your view, how crucial is a strong seasoned, experienced leadership in steering through such a diverse house, which requires not just maintaining balance, but at the same time ensuring a meaningful debate on all of the matters or issues of public importance?
Tina, before I move ahead, I think today was a very, very important signal one could gather from the proceedings of the day. If you're watching it towards the end, when the felicitation ceremony was over, and when the actual House wanted to move forward and on the agenda of the day, members of the opposition were up on their feet demanding an immediate discussion on SIR. Now, I think he handled that, showed the sagacity with which he handled the whole thing, allowing the opposition to have their say, at the same time going back to the age-old practice and rules in play, allowing the government of the day to have its say. And you could see that the House moved on. It took on the special mentions and other issues that were listed for the day. That in turn showed that he was able to handle a very situation, because we know in the last few years, the opposition and the governing coalition have had lots of issues. And so I think this is an important signal. I saw it as somebody who was just watching the proceedings for the day, that this was a very good sign, Tina. And of course, that I said showed that day one began well.
That's right. I think the key expectation ahead of the session is that the session should be productive. Over the last few sessions, there have been concerns about more disruptions and less productivity, which has been impacted. That's been a concern cited by the chair in both houses. Mr. Iyer, you spoke about the consensus-driven personality that the Rajya Sabha Chairman has. He also has a very calm demeanor, which is one of the core strengths that he carries with him also. How do you see these two important personality traits that the Rajya Sabha Chairman has in utilizing it to ensure that there is minimum disruption and maximum governance, maximum work in the House of Elders?
Well, Radhakrishnan, as we know, is known as Vajpayee of Coimbatore. In the sense, just as the former Prime Minister Vajpayee was known for his a disarming style of interacting with people, and a person who could take in criticism, at the same time could also, convey the message where he wanted to. So the Radhakrishnan, despite belonging to a party which has not had good relations with the ruling parties in Tamil Nadu, despite that, his own personal equations with leaders were excellent. That is why you would have seen when Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin was in hospital, that was shortly before Radhakrishnan was named as NDA nominee. He had gone to Chennai to call on him to find out about his health. So he has good personal equations and he doesn't take anything personally. You see, it is very important for a person sitting on the chair to realize that, his job is that everybody gets an opportunity, everybody manage to say whatever they want to say. Their questions are asked, responses are given, and people sit and listen for the responses. You see, a practice is, people just say what they want to say. They have no mood to listen, and everybody wants to speak at the same time. Of course, this is a House of Elders, so people who get elected to Rajya Sabha, people have already, traveled a long distance in the public life. So he is a man of the season and a man of the moment, in the sense Radhakrishnan is expected to see that even if there are situations which sees rise of temper or anything, he can diffuse it, because with his very style, people and he also, people will listen to him, because he has no agenda, he has no any particular thing. He can request, he can move forward, and it's very important that the chair, person sitting on the chair has a larger idea of how the parliamentary proceeding should be. Because it is not about two people, exchanging hot exchanges, or it is not that. It is about the issues that this country is facing, and also the legislative business. Unfortunately, we have seen for quite some time, many of important bills do not get that kind of time for discussion, because a lot of time is wasted in disruption.
That's right.
So hopefully, with his taking over, there should be less number of disruption, more time given to discussing the legislation. Also, whenever urgent matters of urgent public importance are brought, everybody gets to say what they want to say. even new members would like to participate, and more people are given an opportunity to take the floor. So there is a lot of hope, and also everybody believes now that it is time we moved ahead, because political differences will remain. Parties will win elections, lose elections. That's another thing. But Parliament should be a place where it has the way where people can differ, people can agree to disagree, and then they can move forward with whatever has to be done. Tina.
That's right. We've heard several leaders, including the Prime Minister, reiterate on many occasions that dialogue is the way forward, disruption is not. But unfortunately, it's the disruption that has its way in the manner in which we see the House being adjourned repeatedly and legislative matters actually taking the back seat. There are now huge expectations given the personality, given the consensus-driven personality that the Rajya Sabha Chairman brings along with him. And the positivity after today is the goodwill that was reflected across benches, Mr. Prasad, that gives us assurance that we are on the right track. How do you see it setting the momentum for for not just the weeks ahead, but also for the future sessions? We have the budget session coming in the next year.
Tina, I think if we recall, soon after he was elected the Vice President, Mr. Radhakrishnan started preparing for his the role in Parliament as an ex officio chairman, because that is the thing. And he started meeting members of the political parties across the spectrum, leaders in particular. That gives, I mean, he was just not meeting officials to get briefed on how things were, apart from meeting ministers and getting briefed on what was happening. I think that bridge building was important, because given the kind of situation where there was a complete breakdown of relations between opposition and the governing coalition at one point of time, including aspirations of the chair itself. So, these are issues which really led to distress among parliamentarians. And even today on the floor of the House, I think one member did mention that they wanted discussion, because by disrupting the House, it is the government which benefits, because they get away without being accountable to Parliament, because it is through Parliament that people of India hold the government of the day accountable, which is the constitutional scheme of things we have. So I think that having Mr. Radhakrishnan does understand this, and having been a parliamentarian himself, of course, the landscape has changed. When he was last in Parliament 2 decades ago, from there to now, lots of things have changed. But that does not take away his own personal experience. And as Shekharji was also pointing out, the kind of innings he has played, his own personality, his own demeanor, his disarming approach, those are traits which is really will be guiding the upper house. And it's one more thing that has moved forward, or what has been accent, is productivity. And is productivity only in terms of legislation? That's the barometer that has come to gain a currency. But we all understand Parliament is a plate where you have to take. It's a place for both the government and the opposition. Together they constitute Parliament. So how do you accommodate this competing interest in the overall national scale of things and move forward? I think that is where his role becomes very important, Tina.
That's right, Mr. Iyer. We've seen that positivity and that rare goodwill that that is something which is missing from the House of Elders in recent discourse. But that is something which gives us optimism, and we hope that there is more positive collaboration from both sides in the manner in which legislative business is taken up. But one thing that also stands out, and something that the Prime Minister mentioned about the chairman, is that he's been known for encouraging young first-time members. He's done that in earlier roles. How important is that for strengthening the future leadership in Parliament? Because we see how in recent times there has been a push to encourage more and more young leaders to take part in parliamentary discourse, to take part in politics, to help shape the policies which impact their generation and lay the roadmap for the future. So at a time when we are talking about Viksit Bharat vision, how important is it to strengthen that future line of political leadership?
Tina, we have seen how the composition of the House has been changing over the last, decade or more, with people from different backgrounds. and also the fact that there is greater representation of women, there is a greater representation of young people, even in terms of, if you look at age, more and more young people are coming, both to the Lok Sabha as well as to the Rajya Sabha. Now, these people who are getting elected to parliament are full of brimming with ideas. And today, governance requires exchange of ideas with new approaches, new innovations. So, parliament offers the best forum where, ideas can be brought forth, where things can be looked at from different perspective, or I would say 360-degree perspective, so that, because everybody has one common interest. Whoever gets elected to parliament feels that he has two roles. If he is a Lok Sabha member, he or she finds that primary responsibility is bringing the problems of the constituency. If it is Rajya Sabha, it is not only the state. The Rajya Sabha members normally take a holistic view of issues confronting the country. So therefore, and they want to exchange ideas, they want to come forth. So a disruption in houses actually deprives them of the opportunity to, exchange views here also. You see, if there is shouting and disruption, the whole day is gone. I mean, by the time you start by 11 and then it's all gets over by noon, there is no, the purpose for which they come all the way from representing their constituencies or their states. If there is more opportunity for interaction and also for reskilling, you see, many members of parliament would like also to get adapted to the latest use of technology for their effective functioning as parliamentarians. And there has been a provision for training them, giving them new tools which will make their work more easier in terms of gathering information, gathering data, interpreting those data. So there is a lot of, I would say, facilities which are available to a member of parliament, and that can be put to best use. And a member of parliament can today come well equipped with facts, figures, and then place his or her perspective. So all that would require a normal functioning and a readiness to listen to what ideas are coming forth and then offering one's own. So that would be a great, I would say, great way of moving forward. So that, there will be agreement, disagreement, that's a different thing. But certain policies have to be evolved. Those policies can evolve only if every member participates and brings forth to the House their own experiences, their own knowledge, and whatever feedback they get from the people directly. Those are very valuable to formulation of policies, to schemes, and several other things, Tina.
That's right. Given his emphasis on discipline and dignity, and Mr. Prasad, in your earlier answer, you spoke about what you observed on day one, on how he tried to balance between the Treasury and the opposition benches. Do you think this calm but also measured leadership that the chairman has will help reinforce the kind of mutual respect in the House while keeping the discussions more issue focused, more people friendly, because people's issues have to be discussed by the representatives of the people, and that is what has shrunk in legislative matters, what we are seeing in terms of the time devoted to the discussions that are taking place because of the disruptions and the frequent adjournments.
Yeah, I think it's very important that two things stand out very clearly. One, because his ability to handle the kind of pressure cooker situation that develop when everybody is trying to have his or her say, and to calm down people and make sure not just cracking the whip, but by his very measured and calm tone. That is different. It kind of soothes the nerves and allows people to have their say. Number one. Number two, of course, in a house which is so varied. A lot of experience, some new people have come in. So it's going to be how do you deal with a situation where, and I think there's an issue where I heard recently, I think in one of the bulletins I was reading, that they're saying that if you want to take part in a debate, please send your names much in advance and don't send it right then, because it creates a little. So I think that also allows members to come prepared with a better domain understanding of what they are going to participate in, and allows them to prepare and participate and make some very useful contribution. remember, this session is going to take up very many important bills that is there on the agenda. For instance, the Atomic Energy Act. Now, this is it's a far-reaching consequence. Acts like this, or what we just heard, if they're going to have cess on sin goods and stuff like that, they are far-reaching implications. So the country, and we want to have the wisdom of members across the aisle, not one section or the other, and how you take this forward. So this is the challenge, because a democracy, as I said, while the parliamentary adage is very clear, the opposition can have its say, but the government will have its way. That is fine. But end of the day, it's a measured discussion where meaningful interventions are made from either side of the aisle that go on to formulate a policy for the country. And that is important, and that, I think, remains the hallmark of parliamentary democracy, Tina.
That's right. In that aspect, the Prime Minister did also highlight how the Chairman, Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan's life of service is something that he's kept above his life of politics, and that kind of value system is very important in the current parliamentary discourse, in the manner in which it sets the tone for more meaningful, purposeful parliamentary discussions and debates, about which we've already spoken about, how there are huge expectations. He inspires the young leadership across party lines, and hopefully there will be more and more meaningful deliberations in the upper house in the coming weeks. One last question, Mr. Iyer, about which we should also speak when we're talking about the chairman. He's known for his grassroots connect. How do you think his understanding of public concerns will be shaping the priorities and the discussions in the coming weeks about matters that we've already discussed, that rarely find mention given the disruptions and the uproar taking precedence over everything else? How do you expect him to play that role and bring up these issues of public importance, and especially related to the grassroots communities taking center stage in parliamentary discourse? Mr. Iyer?
Comes from Tina, Radhakrishnan comes from a very humble background. And as Prime Minister mentioned today, he may come from Dollar City. Dollar City is a reference to Tirupur. Tirupur is India's Manchester, textile, where all your garments exports are from Tirupur, which is close to Coimbatore. Despite coming from there, where generally it's a more industrialized area, despite that, Radhakrishnan has been in touch with the agrarian issues, the issues or the problems faced by small farmers, marginal farmers, low productivity in agriculture, because that belt is also an agricultural belt. So Radhakrishnan has been I would say, somebody connected to the ground. Therefore, when he comes and occupies such a high post, he does not forget the problems that are being faced by the people, the common people. So therefore, his concern will be parliament deliberations largely reflect the concerns of the common people. And that is a concern that is shared by all political leaders. Prime Minister keeps saying it, because all political parties also feel that they are there to serve the poor, to help the poor, to handhold the poor. So these are common areas, because nobody can say they are not working for the welfare of the poor. So Radhakrishnan, I expect, is a person who will keep always this in his mind and heart, that the deliberations reflect on about the problems and difficulties faced by very sadharan people, the common people, and these are reflected, and so that those deliberations help in government further fine-tuning policies, schemes for the benefit of these very poor people. So that Radhakrishnan's role will play a big part, how the issues are taken up, how they are deliberated, how they are debated, what ideas are produced by such discussions. Those will matter much, and Radhakrishnan will take a very keen interest in these matters.
In fact, that's the hope and confidence that members, that the Prime Minister, the Deputy Chairman, all of whom we heard speak during the felicitation today, have expressed that the Chairman's vast experience, his wisdom in different roles will not just help guide the members, but also guide the country in how we bring up issues of public importance to the Parliament, discuss them, and where dialogue is something which will take precedence. So with that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Time allows us to take up only that much on this edition of Perspective. Thank you once again, Mr. Prasad, Mr. Iyer, for joining in and sharing your thoughts, your views with us and our viewers. To you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.
संसद टीवी के और भी प्रोग्राम्स देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा YouTube चैनल और हाँ, इन्हें लाइक और शेयर करना ना भूलें।